Scott, brother, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very well, man. Thank you very, very much. First of all, I really, really appreciate your time today, taking it out for my radio show on my station, brother.
No worries, no worries.
I want to get right into it, man. The Damn Things. I mean, there's been a lot of coverage about how this band got started, how it came about. Can you give us just a quick rundown of how this all kind of came together?
Yeah, it was pretty simple. Joe Troman, one of the other guitar players, and we became friends about 4 or 5 years ago. We got introduced to a mutual friend, and from that, at some point we just started jamming. It was like literally one night where we got together and had some beers, and we were like jamming on Sabbath songs and stuff, and he started showing me some ideas he had on guitar that he was hoping, to maybe have on the next Fall Out Boy record, and we started working on that stuff, and at some point we realized that we've got some really cool stuff here, and it was going to be worth our time and energy, like to actually commit and try and do something with it. And that's how the idea to create this band was born. Now,
you as a guitar player and as a member of Anthrax, dude, you carry so much metal cred around with you, and you have for years, and you've built that up. Were you at all, and I don't want to say worried, but did you ever think about that maybe your hardcore fans, your Scott Ian fans, wouldn't react the same to this band because you had members of a lighter rock band alongside with you?
Worry isn't the right word, because I really, truthfully, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and if something, creatively, it's something that I want to do, it doesn't really matter to me. But I'll give you some context to it. When Anthrax first started, way back in 1981, and we were writing our own songs, some of which ended up on our first album, and we were also at the time playing covers of early Maiden and Motorhead and Priest and obscure stuff. We were covering "Victim of Changes" from Judas Priest back in 1981, mm-hmm. and we would try and get gigs, and everybody would tell us, "Oh, you can't play shows playing this kind of music unless you're playing Van Halen covers. There's no way you're ever going to have any kind of success." So if we would have worried about that and listened to that back in 1981, we wouldn't be talking on the phone right now. So I've never really worried about anything other than what I want to do and what makes me happy creatively. And so really worry is not the right word. Sure, I thought that, some people are probably going to think this is a little weird because when you look at it on paper, it sucks. I'll be honest with you. Well, Anthrax and Fall Out Boy, huh? What's up with that? But the thing that people don't know about Joe and Andy, the drummer, is that they didn't write the music for Fall Out Boy. Those guys grew up listening to metal, playing in metal bands, playing in hardcore bands. That's what they've grown up with their whole lives. And Joe and I come from the exact same background musically, so on paper it may not look like anything, but when you look a little deeper, it makes absolute sense.
I think that's a big part of your success as an individual, and maybe even going back to Anthrax, you've always kind of, like you said, you've done your own thing. You collaborated with Public Enemy, and you had all this. Your mind isn't just set on metal or just rock. I mean, you've got a whole open genre, and that's, I believe, a part of your success as not only a guitar player, but just as in bands in general. Would you agree?
Yeah, look, you just, you have to do what makes you happy creatively. You have to do what there's a reason why, I do this. It's because I love playing my guitar. I love making music. I love writing songs. And if something moves me, then I'm going to do it. And I've never been one to worry about what genre it is or what, that doesn't matter to me. It just matters, does this move me? Does this make me happy? Am I going to have fun doing this? And that's the only reason I've ever done it. When I started playing guitar when I was 8 or 9 years old, because it made me happy to do it, because it wasn't school, it wasn't homework, and I never looked at it as work. It was only ever just fun.
Well, I got to say, from a fan standpoint, not just a radio jocker or some Joe Schmo off the street, this album, dude, holy hell. I mean, this is an amazing rock and roll record. I don't think when I went and bought it, I had, the expectations that I should have had, but you guys have blown the doors off the rock and roll world, and for a band brand new with this collaboration, I don't think anybody saw it coming. Did you sit down, before you guys went into the studio and have an idea of how this would turn out, and did it actually turn out the same way that you thought it would?
Well, the project was kind of, a long time coming. It was, Joe and I started writing songs almost 4 years ago, and from that point, it took us a solid 2 years till we even went in and made a demo of of stuff. And it was about 2 years ago, a demo that we did is when we realized, okay, this is really cool. We're a band. We need to make a record. We went in, we recorded these 4 songs. It was the first time we ever even heard Keith singing over our music. And that's when we realized, we were like, you know what, we have to do this. And that's when we really kind of put our noses to the grindstone, as they say, and really, started really working hard on it and finding ourselves and what we were going to sound like. And it just all kind of came together, much the same as Anthrax did, at the beginning. We just found our sound and we went with it, and we just kept writing music that we were happy playing. And once it came to actually making the record and, being in the studio and recording the stuff and getting to hear it back, we were kind of really aware after the fact of just wow, this is amazing. Where did this come from? How did we do this? It really did. At the end of the whole thing, it really did blow me away with how good it turned out.
It's I want to say the rock and roll record of 2010, and it came out in late 2010, brother. I mean, it's just amazing. You guys got Keith Buckley on board. How did that come about? How did you finally make that decision? He was the right guy to do vocals on the band. He was the right fit for the Damn Things.
Well, it's kind of like the scenario that it couldn't have been easier. Truthfully, Joe and I were driving around Chicago one night, in a snowstorm, listening to Every Time I Die, and I said, man, if I could make a wish list of singers, there would only be one guy on it, and that's Keith Buckley. And he goes, oh, I've got his phone number. Let me text him right now. And he literally texted him right there on the spot and, said, hey, me and Scott Ian from Anthrax are writing these songs, and we want you to sing on it. And he's like, that sounds amazing. Send me some material. I would love to do it. And at the time, we found out after the fact, Keith's like, dude, I get hit up by everyone you can imagine. I get hit up 10 times a week to do stuff. He goes, and I say no to everything. He goes, but for some reason it just sounded so strange, you and Scott. Yeah. Doing something together, I had to hear what it was all about. So it just worked out. He was the guy we wanted, and he was the guy we got.
It's a rock and roll miracle, man. That's something that you would read out of a storybook or something.
Well, I said to him after, I was kind of like, well, dude, was it a thing where you just said yes, thinking that, well, it'll probably just go away and you'll never have to deal with it?
That's so crazy, man. You guys collaborated on this killer album. Is it true that you were going to actually name it The Damn Thing's Greatest Hits, first thing out of the chute?
That was definitely a title we were kicking around at first, and then, because it made it, it made us laugh. We were all, so someone busted out with, what if we just called the greatest hits? And we all started laughing. And but then we thought, you know what? If we do that, people are going to think this is a novelty just because of what it is. So we didn't want to give anyone any more reason to think we were some kind of a joke band or not take it seriously. So we figured we'll wait for the second record to call it Greatest Hits.
Well, ironically, you guys named it then Ironiclast, and
right.
The music on the album, as far as your guitar style goes, I think it's very different from Anthrax. Obviously, more of kind of a rhythm, rock, and blues sound. How do you compare that maybe to how you prepare for an Anthrax album, or how you get in the zone as a talent, as a guitar player? How did you prepare for this album?
It's certainly it's certainly a different animal. I mean, guitar playing wise, it's definitely a different animal. Just learning, not necessarily learning how to play differently, because I could play all different styles of music on guitar. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just playing what's best for the songs. And obviously, my rhythm style on Anthrax isn't going to work in the Damn Things. It works in certain areas. That aggression and that style certainly comes into play, but overall, it's definitely a different style, and it's just playing it's learning how to play to make the song be the best song that it can be. I guess maybe that's the best way, for me to put it.
Absolutely.
And I have no problem doing that. I consider myself a guitar player, not just a heavy metal or a thrash metal guitar player.
Well, you've got to be able to step into different genres and different places. Otherwise, you just stop learning and you're stuck in kind of one niche. It's really cool to see you step out of maybe the Anthrax box and into some different things. And it gives your fans, your Scottian fans, a different taste of what you're capable of and what you're into as well.
Sure, absolutely.
Let's move on to the tour. You guys got the album out. It's hitting the charts. People are playing it. People are buying it. Now it's time to go on tour. You guys got locked into a Jägermeister tour alongside Buck Cherry, All the Remains, and Hell Yeah. What does this mean for you? I mean, you're kind of doing the support thing, coming off of Anthrax. Now you're in this new band, kind of starting back up. What are some goals for you on this Jägermeister tour?
I don't know about goals, but it's we're just looking forward to getting out on the road. It's our first time, together as a group on a full-on tour across the states, and I haven't had this opportunity, to be in a new band going out on our first tour since 1984 when I did that with Anthrax. So it's just really exciting to get to be able to do this again, and so for me, it's more about that right now. Just going to go out there and really enjoy being out with my friends, on our first time, getting to do it and getting to play to people every night. And we have one advantage over, 1984 when we went out with Anthrax for the first time. Nobody knew who the hell we were. I mean, Fistful of Metal was out, but it was such an underground thing at the time. And this time around, we're already out with a record that's selling okay, and we're on the radio. Anthrax wasn't on the radio in 1984, certainly, and so we've got radio stations, giving us support all around the country, and people are already aware of who we are, obviously because of our histories in our other bands. So we've got all that going for us, and I just think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And fans can go to JägermeisterMusicTour.com to find out all the dates and all the information. Again, Buck Cherry, Hell Yeah, All the Remains, and The Damn Things live on the road.
Yep.
Also, one thing I wanted to ask off to the side, if you don't mind, just a quick Anthrax question. Is the Big Four, do you see it coming to the United States?
I've been asked that question more than any other question, I would say, in the last 8-9 months. Yes, I can't give any details or anything, but I think I can safely say that the U.S. will get to see Big Four shows at some point in time. Where or when, no idea, but I think it'll happen.
You can't see it because it's radio, but I have one single tear streaming from my eye. I just want you to know that, brother.
All right, so on.
Cool. And one thing I want to do, I want to give you a chance. I like to do this with the artists. I want to give you a chance to pick a different song off of your record. Everybody's playing We've Got a Situation here. I want you to maybe grab one of the other favorite songs off there and give this a whirl. We'll give the listeners something else in their ear to get more in tune with your brand and see what else you guys got on this record. What song would you like us to roll today?
Wow, good question. How about going with Friday Night?
Good call. Scott, I cannot honestly thank you enough for joining me on this radio show. I've been a huge fan since my parents would let me listen to metal.
Right on.
And you're just an amazing guy, dude. I really, really appreciate your time today.
Awesome, thank you. Hey, what's up? This is Scott Ian from The Damn Things, and you're listening to Friday Night on the Rockstar Radio Show.